In many modern English Bibles, the words attributed to Yeshua are printed in red, a design choice meant to distinguish his personal teachings from the surrounding narrative. These highlighted passages are generally presented as abstract lessons on personal morality and individual spiritual growth. However, the vocabulary found in the oldest surviving linguistic records suggests these words served a different primary function. To find the original context, we have to look at the Aramaic Peshitta and the ancient Ge'ez manuscripts of the Ethiopic canon. In these records, the key terms used are those of judgment, witness, and restoration. These specific ancient terms stand in contrast to the softened, moralized language found in modern vernacular translations. This linguistic data suggests that the original spoken word functioned as a formal witness against specific institutional practices of the time. By examining 5 specific philological case studies, we can see exactly where the original vocabulary was altered. Tracing these changes reveals a history of administrative changes and suppressed chronological records. Recovering this vocabulary allows us to see how the replacement of ancient administrative laws shaped the modern understanding of the first century. The first case study is found in the modern translation of Matthew 23:13. Most translations describe Yeshua calling the scribes hypocrites, which frames the encounter as a personal character critique. The original Aramaic term is nashe pishra. The first part of the word refers to those who falsify the interpretation of a record. The second part carries a specific legal meaning, the physical alteration of the official record to benefit a specific administrative system. This charge of falsifying records leads to the second case study, the phrase "father of lies" in John 8:44. Modern interpretations often treat this as a metaphysical reference to a spiritual force of evil. In the first century context, this was a lineage statement identifying 2 distinct lines, the plant of righteousness and the 7th-week apostate generation. He identified the temple administrators as part of the 7th-week lineage, a group marked for final judgment. Taken together, these terms function as a formal legal indictment, identifying the ruling class as an illegitimate administration based on their genealogy and their handling of the records. The third case study is the accusation in Luke 11:52 regarding the key of knowledge. This is typically explained as administrators withholding spiritual insight from the people. The Ethiopic and Aramaic manuscripts use the term metzhafe. This refers literally to the physical books and records. The books in question include the Book of Enoch and related texts, which were part of the ancient canon. These specific records contained the timelines of the universe, including the calculated beginning and end of the current age. By removing these books, the institutional administrators gained exclusive control over the historical and cosmological narrative. This describes the active confiscation of physical evidence to prevent the population from seeing the truth of their timeline. Removing the key was the physical redaction of the historical archives, a move that blinded the public to the true nature of their reality. The fourth case study analyzes the broad way and the narrow path. Modern teachings treat these as metaphors for personal choices between good and bad behavior. The original term is derek, meaning the way or the path. In its ancient context, the narrow path referred to the original law, which the records state was preserved in the isolation of the mountains. The broad way referred to the institutionalized system of the man of sin, a path the masses were conditioned to follow by the ruling administration. This conflict is central to Mark 7:8-9, where Yeshua accuses the leaders of rejecting the Creator's commandment for the traditions of men. While often framed as a religious debate, the Ethiopic manuscripts identify a specific administrative replacement. The text highlights the replacement of the original 364-day solar calendar and Jubilee cycles with the lunar and Roman systems. The lunar administrative structure replaced the eternal laws previously recorded on the heavenly tablets. The traditions of men refers to this falsified astronomical calendar, which served as the foundation for an illegitimate administrative system. Looking at this collective linguistic data, a consistent model of first-century history begins to emerge. We have documented the legal charge of Nash Pishra, the lineage markers of the 7th week, the physical removal of the Metzhafe, and the suppression of the 364-day solar calendar. Evidence from these ancient witnesses provides a very different context than standard modern interpretations. In this light, Yeshua appears as a legal witness, formally prosecuting an illegitimate administration. The case was built on historical, astronomical, and legal facts, rather than abstract theological points. The ancient records describe a system, often called the Beast, attempting to delete these specific records from the collective memory of humanity. The mission described in these ancient canons was the execution of a legal mandate of restoration. This mandate required the restoration of the original words and original names that the institutional system had tried to remove from the record. At its core, this restoration involves recovering the forbidden timelines that define the beginning and the end of the universe. Reading these texts through the Aramaic and Ethiopic witnesses recovers a suppressed historical reality, providing access to the original meaning